everybody of the decorum, especially the man in the blue shirt back there. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second in discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
First thing on the agenda this evening is a public hearing. Public hearing to receive public comment to consider a special use permit application to construct a 199-foot monopole and ground mounted related equipment wireless communication facility located at 573 Chestnut Ridge Road, Troutdale, Virginia. Tax map number 31A68. This time I entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We had no speakers that have signed up to talk about this. Mr. Boyer, you guys, anybody on the board have any questions about this?
My only question would be, I guess, to Verizon. I don't know if they can answer it or not, but Verizon, yeah. If they have a, how many miles reach this is, she may give that later in the presentation. I don't know.
So the area of coverage.
Area of coverage, yeah.
Is that something you can,
I was going to say, we'll let her do that. Do you want me to give you a debriefing of what the planning commission discussed, or are you? Okay.
that'll be fine.
And then we'll let Ms. Schweller present the application. So on February the 18th, the planning commission reviewed a application that was submitted by Cellco Partnership. Again, doing business as Verizon Wireless, and is a 199-foot communications tower located on a 110-acre parcel located in the rural farm district of Troutdale. The tower exceeds the 100-foot threshold that's inside of the ordinance, which requires a special use permit to come before the planning commission. So the detailed, it was provided to the planning commission with detailed documentation, including the design concepts, the photo simulations, staff reports to ensure compliance with the county's zoning regulations under section 3-15 for communications towers. During the review in February, the commission asked the applicant for more details regarding the tower design, the lighting, the anchoring, the guy wire applications, if any, and its ability to accommodate emergency services. The applicant provided satisfactory responses. However, I will let Ms. Schweller allude to the lighting situation. We are still waiting on FAA to give us a letter that states that there was not any lighting. You'll notice in your board packet there was lighting required. So I was told by Verizon that that was not necessary. The application complied with the zoning requirements in several areas, including the setbacks. The tower's located at more than 1,900 feet away from any residential area. The zoning requires it to be 500 foot, so it's well exceeds that requirement. The applicant has also requested a landscaping waiver. I don't know if you've noticed that in your board packet, but due to the nature of the proximity of the tower, it's surrounded by tree coverage. So they are requesting from this board a waiver of those minimum requirements. During public comment period, we had one concern raised by, or we had a concern or more than one concern raised by Joe Hash, which is a neighboring landowner, who inquired about the possibility of additional towers being located on the same parcel, potential traffic increases on Chestnut Ridge Road, and possible road improvements that might happen to Chestnut Ridge Road, and whether or not the county would receive any kind of tax revenue for this tower. Staff recommended approval for the special use permit with the following conditions. One, that the tower must be built and maintained according to the submitted plans. And two, that the tower must be decommissioned within 90 days of abandonment in compliance with section 3-1512 of the zoning ordinance. Additionally, I recommended that waiving of the landscaping requirements due to its natural buffer already in place. The Planning Commission, after reviewing the application, issued a resolution to the board recommending approval of the special use permit, including the conditions and the waiver request for the landscaping. They found that the proposed communication tower complies with the zoning ordinance guidelines regarding location, design, visual impact, co-location opportunities. They also concluded that the tower would serve the public necessity, convenience, and welfare, and the approving of the tower was consistent with the county's comprehensive plan, particularly in chapters 5 and 8. That's all I have as a debrief of what we have done in the Planning Commission in February. I do know that Ms. Lori Schweller with Selco Partnership is available for questions that you may have.
Do we need to come out of public hearing for the presentation?
To ask for questions.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And
I'll make a motion to come out of public hearing.
Second.
have a motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're ready, Ms. Schweller.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Black. Good afternoon, supervisors. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Great. I do have a presentation I can share with you and answer your specific questions as well. Those slides. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
So what we're proposing is a new wireless facility at 573 Chestnut Ridge Road in Troutdale. And I just changed the slide. Did that work?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Don't want to make that mistake. As you can see, this property is 110 acres and it's on a ridge. It's a forested ridge. And so this site would be able to provide service on either side of that ridge, which is a real advantage in this case. So oftentimes when you see a tower on a flat piece of property, you'll see another tower about 3 miles later, anywhere from 2 to 5 miles, and those are connecting, the cells are connecting. In this case, this one tower ought to be able to propagate a signal 4 or 5 miles in every direction because of its location. So communications towers are permitted by special use permit. So we're requesting your approval of a special use permit. This proposed site is east of Chestnut Ridge Road and west of Flat Ridge Road. We did examine the area to make sure there weren't any co-location opportunities, but within 5 miles, there's only one tower, which is an AEP tower, 3.7 miles to the northeast. And as I mentioned earlier, that's really too far to provide service in this area. That's an entirely different service area. So this tower was needed to provide coverage to the Jones, Knob, and Flat Ridge area. This is a map showing you the GIS, the tax map parcel and surrounding parcels. The required setback for a communications tower is 125% of the height of the tower. In this case, the monopole would be 199 feet. So that setback is a minimum of 248 3/4. But as you can see from this map, the distances to the property boundaries will be from 490 to over 2,000 feet. So we do meet those setbacks. And also the distance to the nearest off-site residence is almost 2,000 feet. This is just showing you that the site will be accessed by there's an existing road there, but Verizon will require, or rather, let me clarify, Verizon Wireless is the applicant, but if this permit is approved, the tower would be constructed and managed by Vertical Bridge. And so, what we're showing you here is an access easement that would be held by Vertical Bridge from the landowner, to the lease area. So there's an existing road there. The easement area would be 40-foot wide for access and for utilities to the site. Around the compound, the trees would be preserved as much as possible for a 200-foot radius, and that will help, of course, screen all of the ground equipment and the bottom portion of the pole from neighboring properties. So, except for that portion that needs to be cleared to install the facility, that will be preserved and couldn't be cut by the landowner or by the tower owner. The equipment compound would be 125 feet by 80 feet. That's the lease area. Within that is a 50 by 50 foot compound. Verizon would lease from Vertical Bridge within that compound, a 12 by 20 foot area. And then there would be room for other wireless providers to put their ground equipment there if they put antennas on the tower. The compound would be surrounded by a chain link fence with anti-climbing device. And this is showing you a schematic of the elevation. So the monopole could hold antennas for at least 4 wireless providers. Verizon Wireless would be at the top. It's the first or anchored tenant for the pole. And then other wireless providers could put their antennas below that. And then there's a space reserved for Grayson County at 140 feet. And Vertical Bridge, that's a 10-foot vertical space. And Vertical Bridge, the tower owner, would provide that space to the county for fire and rescue or other uses at no charge. There were some questions at the Planning Commission about structural design and the loading because it is on a ridge. And so we did provide a signed and sealed engineer's report analysis from Sabre Industries to Ms. Black. Of course, we'll work with the building official during the building permit stage to make sure that the tower is meeting all standards. Because it is a 199-foot tower on a ridge, there would be some visibility. We provided a photo sim to show what that visibility would look like from the community center, Flat Ridge Community Center, which is a little over half a mile away. So we do believe that our application complies with the zoning ordinance, and we think that it is supportive of the county's goals set out in the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan states that wireless is important for small business, and it recognizes the importance of reliable wireless, not only for economic development, but also education, quality of life, and public safety. So that's our presentation, and I apologize, I forgot to introduce with me tonight is Sean Chai, who is with Bam Consulting, the zoning consultant for this project, and we are both here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Sweller.
Thank you.
The only other question that I have is, do you know a time frame of when construction will hopefully be done? And this will be functionable?
I will defer to Sean on that question. He's probably got the latest updates.
Good evening, everyone. As soon as possible. Hopefully I can file for the permit and get it within a couple of weeks.
Great, thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, this may be an odd question, but will other providers be able to pull off that tower, or is it strictly on Verizon customers?
Absolutely, and so that tower, once constructed, Verizon Wireless will go on the top, so it's committed to be on the top RAD center, the engineers call it. But the other spaces, this tower, according to your ordinance, must be constructed to hold at least 3 other providers. And so this tower is constructed to provide room to other wireless providers. And that's what Vertical Bridge would want to do. So if AT&T or any other carrier had an interest in providing service in this area, they would simply contact the tower owner and enter into a sublease to put antennas on the monopole and put ground equipment in that compound area. And so that's other, commercial wireless providers, and then also room for the county at the 140-foot RAD center.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Will this help to replace some of the towers in the county that are already failing, or will it just be an additional where there's currently like a dead zone for us? Okay.
In this area, I understand that there's a real dead zone, a real need for service. So it's not replacing any existing towers. It's actually providing service where there isn't service or where it needs to be much improved.
Thank you.
Will there be 5G technology on this? Will there be wireless opportunities for folks close enough to the tower?
Yes, sir. All Verizon wireless sites have all of their current technology, 4G and 5G. And so I know that in areas where you don't have other internet opportunities, underground cable and so on, it's a good way to get internet using the wireless hotspots and so on.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one last question. Are you considering other areas in the county for towers?
Now that I don't know. This is the only one county I'm working on. Sean, do you have any intel on that?
We do have plans for a couple other sites in the area. I think one of them is a 2027 build year, and then there's possibly another one for later on in 2026. But right now, this is the hot site that we need, because this expands and covers both bridges, and it can provide the coverage that we need, and we desperately need it in this area, and we have none, just so you know.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you both. If there's no other questions, what does the action require that we?
You don't have that.
Is it a resolution? Or? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Swell, we have one more question.
Well, I just have a question actually for Ms. Black.
Oh.
This is the public hearing. Yeah, sorry.
Ms. Black, no resolution, it's just a motion.
Just a motion.
Okay. Were all of Mr. Hash's questions addressed by the planning commission?
We did,
Okay.
yes, we did.
So we just need to approve the zoning.
You just need to approve the recommendation of the planning commission. That was a resolution sent to you in your board packet. Or however you so choose to
At
do that
this
tonight.
time, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation from the planning commission.
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the recommendation from the planning commission for the Verizon tower.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This does not require a roll call vote, I believe. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. I'm also aye. Thank you both for attending the meeting tonight. Thank you, Ms. Black.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. We appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on. Mr. Smith, do we have any registered speakers? Or do we have anybody sign up for public comment? We have no reports, presentations, or requests at this time. We have no public comment speakers. We have no old business, so we're straight on to new business. Mr. Boyer, if it's okay with the three resolutions that we have, can we waive the reading of those three resolutions and pass them or vote on in one fell swoop with three resolutions?
If you want to,
Any board member have any objection to that?
I don't, if we could just get a summary so the folks know,
Okay.
because they may not have what we have.
yes, sir. Okay, first resolution is, as everyone knows, we received a little bit of revenue from the casino gaming tax proceeds each year we have to designate, where that money will go to. And, that's, we're this year specifically provision of emergency medical and fire services as budgeted for fiscal year 2026. And then we have, at the end of the year, they ask us to, send some documentation of how that money was spent, and we do that every year, but this resolution is required each year for those funds. Can we keep going? Sure.
Not on that resolution. On the next one.
Any questions on that resolution? Okay. Second resolution is, supporting funding for repairs and strategic implementation of Blue Ridge Rising, the Blue Ridge Parkway. Our tourism director, Tracy Cornett, is representing the board for the Blue Ridge Parkway Foundation. They're trying to secure a grant, funding for the Blue Ridge Initiative Rising to expand the footprint of the parkway, and to the communities that it affects. We've been asked to pass this resolution supporting their endeavors. There's no cost commitment on this from the county. Basically, they're only requesting our support to move forward. Just drafted the resolution. It looks okay based on what their needs are. So there's no funding affected to the county on this resolution. The third resolution is a fire certification. I think, this is our fire certification resolution. It makes us eligible for fire grants and assistance, and helps us with some firefighting funding and emergency services. It gets us what's called an FDID number, which is a fire department identification number, which is required for grant processing. So those are the three resolutions. Any questions on any of those three?
Okay, well, we're gonna attempt to do this in one fell swoop. If I can entertain a motion to approve all three resolutions. Casino gaming tax proceeds usage, supporting funding for repairs and strategic implementation of Blue Ridge Rising along the Blue Ridge Parkway, and the fire certification.
That's so moved, as
Second.
stated by the chair.
We have a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote. Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Hash,
Aye.
Mr. Cornett, Ms. Tomlinson.
Aye.
I'm also aye. All right, brings us to the last thing on the agenda, is board appointments. It looks like we have Economic Development, Emergency Services Commission, Grayson County Senior Advocacy Committee, and the Mount Rogers Planning District Commission Executive Committee. I'm gonna go in reverse over here, Mr. Board. The Mount Rogers Planning District Commission Executive Committee is a 2-year term, and Tom Revels no longer wishes to serve. New appointee will fill the remainder of Mr. Revels' term, which expires 12/31/25. Does anybody have?
Mr. Chair, I would be interested in serving in that role if it be the pleasure of my colleagues on the board.
The role, is that what you said?
Serving, if it's the pleasure of.
So Mr. Anderson's willing to serve on this committee. We can go ahead and knock that one out real quick. Could someone please make a motion to that effect?
I make a motion to appoint Supervisor Anderson to this Mount Rogers Planning District Commission Executive Committee.
And I guess, this is okay, the fact that he's a Mount Rogers employee.
This is not.
Different.
This
Totally
is not
different.
where I work, but I think it's been the tradition before Bradley and I got here.
It was a supervisor.
Right, that's why.
I don't see a problem with it. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. I'm also aye.
I understand.
Grayson County Senior Advocacy Committee, it's a 2-year term. Amelia Bland Waller, Elk Creek District term expires 12/8/24, so.
We still don't have a meeting in the foreseeable future, but I have not found, I don't really know if it's my obligation, but I haven't found someone to replace her. She made it apparent at the last meeting that we had that she would like to find a replacement. Is that also your understanding?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion to table this to the next meeting?
Have a motion table, can I,
Second.
and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. I'm also aye. Emergency Services Commission, it's a one-year term. Mitchell Cornett, term expired 2/9/25. Would you like to continue to serve in that role?
I will do it unless somebody else would like to.
Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to, reappoint, Mr. Connect.
Second.
A motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. I'm also aye. All right, EDA, 4-year term. Let's just start at the bottom. Gary Rasco's term expired today. Elizabeth Hash expired,
That's next month.
Next month, that's April 13th.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's March.
April 13th. Elizabeth Hash also expires on April 13th, and Roger Rose resigns. So we need 3 appointments.
Mr. Chair, I've got an appointment. It was for the Elk Creek, for Mr. Rose's, where he resigned.
Yep.
I'd like to appoint Joan Collins. I think everyone knows her. I don't have to.
Do that in the form of a motion.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that board appoint Joan Collins to fill the remainder of Mr. Rose's term, which expires 5/18/28, representing the Elk Creek District. That's my motion.
One second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
I'm also aye. Next one will be Elizabeth Hash at Elk Creek. Expires next month.
I don't have anyone for her.
Okay, it's my understanding in some of our prior negotiations that this appointment would go to Providence because they would have to, you now have 2, right, or 3?
I have two.
You got Ms. Collins,
And Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, okay.
Who has 3?
I don't think
No, no one has 3.
Nobody does now.
Okay, so.
I don't.
Okay.
Does anybody have a nomination for Ms. Hash's term that expires? Or is she willing to continue serving and we can re-up it?
I don't have anybody at this time. I didn't know her term was up so soon.
Didn't either.
I would like to look or ask.
And then I would state, in prior conversations that the board had, that when her term was up, that this would be mine. But
If that's the case, then, if that's what we said, I don't remember, but that doesn't mean I don't believe you. It just means I don't remember. If that's what we said, then I'll defer that one
I
to.
think as long as we keep from having 3 in one area, I'm
Yeah.
fine with whichever way that goes, personally.
Just need a nomination.
Do you have
Or do
somebody?
we want to table it?
well,
Does she-
she don't have to
Table
be,
it until next month.
say that again. I can wait till next month to appoint somebody from.
You can, it's at the, no, meetings at the,
Okay. we'll
our
take
meeting's at the end of this month.
So we're tabling that one membership. Okay? Gary Rasco, Wilson term expires 4/13/25. I would really like to see Darren Young, who's been a non-voting member for how many ever years, to roll over into that voting spot. But I can't make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. All right. That means county administrator's report. You're 3 minutes away from a number I'm looking for.
Okay, I did my best. Skyline Bank presented the county with a check in amount of $10,000 for Hurricane Helene Relief Fund this week. Shannon, I did send you a picture. I checked. I'll send you another one if you want to send a picture. Okay.
That'd be great.
All right. Nikki and I met with Mount Rogers Community Services and their staff on their budget request this week. Richie was there, Richie's here. We had a good discussion on process, dollars, and then focus dollars, so it was a good discussion. Wired Road, the board has made a decision on the lease of Wired Road. It's with our attorney right now, so we're working through the process. Should have an update for the board next meeting on Wired Road. I've been meeting monthly with the CEO of the hospital to understand the challenges facing our local hospital here. A lot of us have had good experiences with the hospital. I find that it's a vital part of our community. And I've tried to have a focus on ensuring that we have good communication with the hospital and understanding what their challenges are. I think they're doing their best with the limited dollars they have. Certainly the biggest problem I think they face is the number of Medicaid patients compared to the number of patients they have that are insured. If you look at the data between them and Whitfield's in a much better position financially because of the number of insured patients they have. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of let everybody know our hospital needs our support when they can get it. So that's it. I was out of town for the Ag Banquet, heard it went well, and it was another good success. If you have any comments on it.
2 or 3 of them was there, and I thought it was a very good ag bank.
It's one of the best events in the county.
It was great having Steve Burson and Matt Lohr there and the support and all the nice things that they had to say about what we're doing.
Okay, very good. Our new website is launched. Can you pull it up real quick?
Yes.
Okay. I just recommend everybody take a look at it. If you have suggestions, if citizens have suggestions or recommendations, send us those recommendations. Linda's an expert on this right now, just so you know. And we're all training and looking to make this better, but we're looking to make it. Hey, can you go to government, pull down public works? There it is.
This one?
No.
It's
I couldn't see it, I'm
this
sorry.
side.
It's under services.
Oh, it's under services. I'm sorry. Go to services. I apologize. There it is. If you see right on there, you'll see our large item waste collection schedules on there. You'll also see our household hazardous waste collection. Go ahead and pull it up, please. Click on one of those. There it is. So you can see it's coming up March 17th. The large item pickup starts. Go to hazardous waste. Go back, Brian, if you can.
Of course.
And then there's our hazardous waste collection and personal document shredding. So that is April. What's the date? I can't see it.
5th.
What's it say? April what? 5th? April 5th. April 5th. I got it. Yeah, April 5th. So anyway, play with the website. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we'll have Linda affect the changes of it. Right, Linda?
That's right.
Okay, thanks.
Quick question for Linda.
Yeah.
So
The board packet,
it's
or the
not
board
on
application was on the old one. It's not on the new one yet. Or
board
with
application.
application for like appoint board
Right, it
appointees.
is not on there yet. I actually have a meeting with KJ tomorrow. We're gonna work out some wrinkles that we're having right now, so that will be, we can get that on there as well.
Okay.
You get bugs in here, right?
There is, you see it?
Well, they're in our office a lot lately. I don't know
I
why.
figured they'd be over here.
Don't you have fun?
No, it's, hey, they're attracted to, you know.
We do want you to go to, GIS website, everything, and just take a look. We've got some good comments so far, and we're just trying to update it as best we can, so thanks. Been searching for a new grant writer. I've spoken to 2 different, grant writers. Our contract grant writer is no longer, working, and so, I'll let you know. I'll update you on that as soon as I can. Everyone should have seen an announcement about Oat House Ventures breaking ground in Wildwood Park. Mr. Hash, if you want to say something about that, I'll be happy.
I just want to thank the Gazette for the excellent article. If you haven't seen it, it's the March 5th edition, but it speaks a lot about what their company will be doing, the jobs that are going to be available for in our locality. But really good article. Talks in depth about the company and everything. But also like to thank Mr. Belton, who's served on the Reseda board and was chairman for a good period during these negotiations and stuff. And it's been a long time coming, and I'm excited about it, to say the least. We needed this.
Okay, spoke with, Tuck and Troy. They're pushing hard to try to get this restaurant open in April, so they're doing the best. And, we've sent all the documents we can to help them with the EDA funding. March 27th is Crossroads Institute, Career Fair. You'll see these posted. There's a lot of different, Shannon, you have this. If you have this, if you don't have this, I'll give it to you. But a lot of different companies going to be there, and it should be a good day for a career fair. Let's see, EWP details. Emergency Watershed initial planning meeting. We had that on February 25th, with representatives from the National Resources Conservation Services, which is a part of USDA. If you don't know, it's federal. There's been 65 sites identified in Grayson County. At this point, 52 sites are approved for further investigation. 2 of the identified sites are shifted to VDM, waterway debris contract, under the public assistance process. We have 6 days coming up, 3 next week, 3 the following week, for further assessment by NRCS site teams to prepare a plan and determine funding needs. We've been continuing to have assessments done at this point, especially well too. There's a lot of sites all that I expected that would be on the list that are not present, so we're working right now to ensure those sites are evaluated over the next couple of months. The initial meeting with VDM contractors was on March 3rd to determine that process, and VDM will begin work shortly, should conclude very quickly on the public assistance process. One of the biggest things that that has come to light is once the sites are finalized and the funding determined, it is not congressionally funded yet. So obviously we're talking to our reps to try to ensure funding will be coming. It is the responsibility of the county to manage the process. That means include procurement, engineering support, contractors, for the work. And this is a 3 to 5 year multi-million-dollar project to clean up our waterways. So certainly we have an overabundance of staff that has a background in this, and so I'm joking. Of course, we'll have to wade through this and try to figure out how this is going to work. But we're hoping the dollars come, and then we can start the process of figuring out how to do it. Any questions on that?
What's the deadline on that for the sites that aren't on those lists yet for NRCS and VDM? No.
Meeting this assessment, next 6 days of assessment, we're hoping to ensure those sites will be on there.
Okay.
Any questions from the board to me?
Just a comment. I spoke last time. I got a call from Delegate Will Moorfield, and he was talking to me about the state disaster assistance fund. The governor has to sign it into law, but I think it's around 25 million is what's proposed. But anyway, not sure what's going to take place there, but I know he told me fencing and some other agriculture things were going to be involved with that from the state, as well as some residential people that lost houses. So he said he knew Grayson was, of course, the hardest hit. So he gave me a little bit of an update. So hopefully that'll be available quicker than some of this federal funding.
That's all I have, Chair. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Mitch got an email from James right before this meeting. I'm sorry. Forgot that one.
No problem. Just quickly, James Schwartz wanted to check in to see if the board had wanted to provide any extra routes for the secondary 6-year plan review. There is all the current projects have been fully funded. There's $439,359 available to add any new projects or to cover, we got to get this, the estimate increases for the current projects. So there could be some of that money needed for that. He said we need to have our annual public hearing meeting and plan approved by June. As soon as we have the routes, we'll be able to conduct reviews to see if they meet the criteria, and we'll be able to schedule a public hearing meeting then. I would remind the board that you all last year came up with 13 routes, and you chose to do Horseshoe Drive, Saddle Creek Road, and the remainder of the funding to put toward the third one. You just took them in a line and put the third one Beaver Dam Road. There was not enough funding to complete Beaver Dam Road, if you'll remember. So this year's funding completed, we'll have to complete that, and then this funding here for 39. He said all current projects are fully funded. So then you could this list, if you all still like this list, the next three on the list are Rimrock Lane, Chestnut, Grover Road, and Mount Olive Road. Mount Olive Road. And that's the next three in a row, but that's.
He needs this by June.
No, we have to have it. He wants to get it as soon as possible so the review can be done. Once they get that, once they have that, then they'll be able to look at them, review them, and be able to have the public hearing here in Grayson County and the boardroom like we normally do in May or June. Yeah, but the routes need to be to them, I would think by the latest next month, we need to have the routes to them so they can review them, see if they meet the rural rustic.
Are you saying the first two are actually on the 6-year plan?
The first two are already on the 6-year. Y'all voted to just go in a row last year. Horseshoe Drive off of Scenic Drive, Saddle Creek Road, and Beaver Dam, if you'll remember, only got partially funded because he said, we'll go ahead and put it on there. We'll put the funding toward it, but then next year we'll have to add to it to finish it. He said in this email today that, and I just got it right, so I've not had a chance. He says that all the current projects are fully funded, so I would think that.
But there's $461,000 left.
359. So, yeah, so I don't know.
Would it make sense to just do Beaver Dam until the money runs out?
Okay, and then you could just continue down the list if y'all review your list. This was, March 14th, 2024, and we can send this out again.
But the only thing we have to decide on is what that additional money is gonna go toward, right?
And that's what I'm saying.
And could we finish Beaver Dam instead of the partial?
Okay, the way I interpreted, Mr. Chairman, the way I interpreted this email, and I'm not talking since we got it, it says all current projects are fully funded.
But it's a partial repair on Beaver Dam.
Okay, but I would think he took the money to fully fund Beaver Dam. That's what he said he's gonna do last year. He said, next year we'll take the money to finish Beaver Dam. Either what you're saying will have to happen with this money, or he has already done that, and this is how much we have left.
I guess we need clarification, but.
Yeah.
And if the decision has to be made before we meet next month.
And that's why.
Is there any change in the order that's in there?
Yeah. If you like this order, we can figure out, is Beaver Dam funded?
Well, then that shouldn't require any action. We'll just keep it the same
And
order.
we'll
that it
just
was last year.
continue right down the list that you all made last year.
I've just had a couple requests. Could we just add these into the order, for future?
If you've got new ones.
Yeah.
So
Put them at
the
the
first
bottom.
thing they have to do is get approved for rural rustic before they can get on the list.
And we've got a meeting coming up for that, don't we?
Yeah.
Also, we can do that then.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Cause I've got one.
That'll be part of it. Good budget. Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Thank y'all.